1 week before Mother's Day, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. I remember going to the doctor's office with my mom, and the doctor looked at the two of us and said 2 words: "It's cancer." And those 2 words changed our lives. I don't think it really even set in at the time. I think it took a couple of days before it sunk in. But it did come as a surprise for us. My mom had noticed a painful lump back in February, and as a result, she decided to get a mammogram, which was negative, and an ultrasound, which was also negative. So she got 2 negative tests. Both turned out to be false negatives, although we didn't know at the time. And the situation was dismissed by her family doctor as being something insignificant. The family doctor told her just take Advil, take naproxen, but the pain never went away, and the lump started growing bigger and bigger. And my mom kept complaining about it and kept pushing for more tests. Eventually, MRI in April revealed that not only was it cancer, but the cancer is up to 7 or 8 centimeters big, pretty much filled up the whole breast, and a number of lymph nodes were involved already. We weren't really even thinking about cancer. I think she just wanted to know what was the problem, why she's having pain, and why the pain wasn't going away, and it turned out to be cancer, despite the earlier false negative mammogram and ultrasound. I think one lesson to be learned is that if you truly believe you have a problem, don't trust a negative test. Always push for more. So within 2 days of mom's cancer diagnosis, I made sure she got her COVID-19 vaccine. I figured that would be needed for sure. And then the following week, I got her to get a dental appointment because I figured she needed her teeth done before going to chemotherapy. And then I think it was during the time when, over the following week, was when things really start sinking in and realizing, oh my god, like this is serious. Could be potential life and death situation. If you ever wonder if men cry, the answer is yes, we do. We do cry. Both my mom and myself, we cried over it. And at times it got so difficult at home, it felt like mom almost died in essence. Lost a lot of sleep. There were nights when I would sleep for a bit and wake up, sleep for a bit and wake up. I lost quite a bit of weight over the ensuing couple of months. And it made life more difficult when mom was constantly complaining about the pain getting worse and worse while she waited for surgery. She waited almost 2 months for surgery, and the diagnosis was delayed from February to April, and her surgery was in June. You can only imagine that had it been caught back in February, we would have done something about it earlier. But by the time we found out about the cancer, it was at least stage 3. And knock on wood, we're hoping that it stays at stage 3 and not worse. But I encourage her by saying it was very good that she pushed for the MRI, she pushed for more tests. Because had she dismissed it, had she let it go, she would have died. She would have. Right now she's still in chemotherapy, and honest to God, chemotherapy is not for the faint heart. And I mean that both factually and metaphorically, as in some of the chemotherapy medications, it damages the heart. So she's trying to stay strong through it. And the other thing we realize is mom has been primary caregiver at home, or primary has been the primary person at home. She does the vast majority of all the cooking and cleaning and taking care of the family, and all those duties that she used to do, someone else has got to take over. And nobody else is quite as good or can do things quite as efficiently as she can. Certainly no one can cook the way Mom cooks. She cooks without a recipe. She just picks up things and throws into the pot. And it's very hard to reproduce the way she cooks. And then I realized it's not just, the most challenging thing is not just learning how to cook a dish, but it's a lot more challenging managing the kitchen and managing the entire food preparation process. Like from getting the groceries, from planning out the meals, from thawing out certain ingredients, from preparing the food, from washing, rinsing, seasoning, everything that goes into it before the cooking. And then of course all the cleaning afterwards. It takes hours to prepare a dinner and clean up afterwards. It's tough around the home. I mean, I don't think I ever imagined how hard it is to take care of a cancer patient, or to go through a cancer diagnosis, or someone in the family having cancer. It's difficult, physically tiring, but also mentally very stressful, anxiety inducing, and scary. I remember the amount of fear and trepidation leading up to her surgery. I think from April to June it was very, very tough, very taxing emotionally. I agree that things gradually got a little bit easier. I mean, after surgery, after she starts a more regular routine of the chemotherapy, when she starts to get the hang of the drugs, when we kind of know better what to expect, I think it does get easier with time. But I have to admit, I think regardless of the long-term outcome, this cancer diagnosis has forever changed our family and how we behave and how we live. If anything, it has definitely drawn our family closer together. And I would say the other big lesson that we got out of this cancer diagnosis, the first lesson being always push for a diagnosis if you truly feel there's something wrong. And the second very big lesson is always appreciate each and every day that you and your family are alive and well. And be thankful for every day that you and your family are alive and well. And the emotions were so tough during that time that I remember back in around May, June, a new song was born out of it. Not song, but more like a melody was born out of that time. I mean, it shows how music and creativity can be influenced a lot by emotions. So yes, I agree. It's tough, and I don't think that I could ever understand how tough it is until I've gone through it. I mean, I've met many people who have family members with cancer or who themselves have cancer, and I don't think we really understand how hard it is. And the other thing I didn't know is how many appointments a cancer patient has. Like sometimes there's 3 appointments a week. You're always taking her to this and that and running around. It's really hectic. It's crazy. It's hard to find time for anything at all. Like I said, I've lost a lot of sleep. Sometimes I sleep about maybe 5 hours a night. Not much exercise either, and sometimes I'm a little bit afraid to do too much exercise when I'm myself weak and lost weight myself. I think it's important that I have to take care of myself, and other family members have to take good care of themselves too in order to support Mom through this cancer diagnosis and the treatment. The other thing I realized was how common cancer really is. I learned that depending on the sources, some say that 1 in 9, some say that 1 in 8, some say 1 in 10 women in Canada will have breast cancer in their lifetime. And that's just breast cancer alone, not including all the other types of cancers. As soon as I started telling people that my mom's got cancer, I started hearing people saying, this parent's got cancer, that parent's got cancer. It almost seems like cancer is so common that every family probably has at least one person that's touched by cancer. So I also went for the CIBC Run for the Cure, raising funds for the Canadian Cancer Society. I first participated in that run back in 2007. At that time, I was a student. At that time, I did it for the cause. And I've done it a number of times in the years since. But this year, obviously I did it for Mom. And there was no organized run this year because of COVID-19, but it was an online fundraiser, and I made the commitment to not only raise money, I matched everyone's donations, and I also walked the 5 kilometers. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping the best for my mom, and also wishing the best for anyone else who's going through cancer. And I'm hoping the funds raised will make cancer something that's not to be feared, to make cancer treatable and beatable, and something that we can live with, something that could be diagnosed early, something that could be treated successfully, or for people who couldn't be treated, to improve the quality of their lives as best as possible. At this time, nobody really knows what's going to happen with Mom. She's being treated, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I've learned from other cancer patients to try to be positive, to try to enjoy each and every day that you can. When you're in chemotherapy, you've got your good weeks and your bad weeks, and when you got your good days, you got to eat, you got to go out, get some fresh air, and you got to go and do the things that you enjoy, like go for a walk if you can, go and check out the nice autumn leaves, fall colors, go and do some sightseeing. Might not be able to go far or do much, but try to enjoy as best as you can. Thanks for listening. Dong, 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 dong. Dong, 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 dong. Dong, 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 dong. Dan, 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 dan. Dan, 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 dan. Dun, 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 dun.